Israel! Down, down, Israel! Down, down, USA! Down, down,
USA! Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Around 400 people poured onto the streets of Auckland's Central Business District in front of the US consulate to protest against what they said is the massacre of Gazans in Palestine by Israeli Zionist forces, acting criminally, slaughtering civilians and destroying whatever little infrastructure they had. The protest was organized by Global Peace and Justice that drew young and old and participants from many religious groups, prominent among them Green Party's Member of Parliament Keith Locke and Federation of Islamic Associations of New Zealand, FIANZ President Javed Khan. New Zealand is home to 50,000 Muslims coming from around 45 countries.
It's been a huge protest out here in front of the US consulate here in Auckland. Hundreds of people have come down from in and around Auckland suburbs protesting against what they call genocide and collective punishment of the Gazans.
Green MP Keith Locke expressed outrage at the silence of majority of Western nations, including New Zealand, for not taking a clear stand against the latest Israeli attacks on Gaza, and expressed disappointment that New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister Murray McKelly has not released a formal statement yet on the atrocities by Israel against the hapless and besieged Palestinians.
Well, this is the biggest protest in favour of the Palestinian people there's been in many, many years, because the scale of the killing by the Israeli armed forces is unprecedented since 1948. Over 300 people killed so far, and many times that have been maimed. It is a totally horrendous war. TV stations, universities, government buildings, police stations, they've all been targeted, and it's completely unacceptable. It is terrorism, and we must be against it.
FIANZ President Javed Khan termed Israel's attack on Gaza as a genocide and a criminal act.
This is a criminal act on the part of the Israelis. They are committing a genocide against innocent children, innocent people, innocent elderly, women, everybody. They are indiscriminately killing everybody.
There's no Israeli embassy in New Zealand. There's no Israeli consulate in New Zealand. There is an honorary consul called David Swartz, who's based in Wellington and has been putting out the most poisonous propaganda against Hamas and against the Palestinian people for a very long time. So we need to challenge him and challenge the lies that come from the New Zealand Jewish Council as well. Because what they are doing is they are taking part in what is a battle of ideas. They are trying to portray Hamas as a terrorist organization. But Hamas was elected, democratically elected, to represent the Palestinian people 2 years ago.
The peaceful protest march started from the US consulate and culminated a kilometer away at Ayutthaya Square. A group of students expressed their frustration at US policies in the Middle East and burned a US flag.
There's very strong support here for the people of Palestine.
This is a criminal action on the part of the Israelis. They have committed a crime against humanity, and they should be taken to task by the international community.
I'm here to oppose America's continuing support of Israel. I want our leaders, the leaders of New Zealand, to take some courage, to make some statements that are strong about human rights. This is a human rights issue. We should not be pretending to be friends with a nation that is supporting terrorism.
We must end Palestinian people's hopeless. They're living in a poverty, in a bad condition, without any health care.
I'm here to oppose the terrible atrocities that are being committed at the moment by the Israeli military in Gaza.
We as workers, as unionists, should be supporting a complete and utter boycott of the Israeli state, its institutions, its political leaders. We
we should be showing our solidarity with our Palestinian brothers and sisters in the Gaza and in the West Bank, whose unions are also under attack, whose institutions are also being destroyed, whose very livelihoods are being destroyed by this unending occupation.
The Warsaw Ghetto, some of you will know the history of the Jewish people in Poland in the 1940s, where the Nazis corralled them into a ghetto, the Warsaw Ghetto, and those people were treated appallingly. Many of them were massacred, they were harassed, they were bombed, they were killed, they were murdered. And yet in the middle of all of that, those Jewish people, those brave Jewish people stood up and rose up against the Nazis. They suffered tremendously because of that, but their fighting spirit was strong. And it's a dreadful situation to find some of their descendants in Israel now perpetuating the same kind of siege against the Palestinian people. Well, shame on those descendants of those heroic Jewish people who are continuing that oppression today.
It's a shocking thing to be out here protesting yet another massacre of defenceless Palestinians.
As a member of the New Zealand community, that they should immediately cut all the relations with Israel, do a complete boycott politically and economically.
The majority of the protesters are protesting against the silence on part of the Arab governments, and they are angry that nothing is being done to take care of the situation, to ease the situation of the Gazans that they find themselves in after an 18-month-long siege, which has left them crippled completely in all directions.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
They will be back this Saturday once again to vent their anger, and they are demanding that the New Zealand government release a formal statement on its position as to the situation, the prevailing situation in Gaza.